if you believe like in the premise that psychedelic medicine helps people change and heal and reconfigure their minds, why wouldn't you take the biggest, baddest
Yeah.
example of a hard motherfucker on the planet?
Hey everyone, welcome to this week's Trade to Black podcast. I am your host, Shad Dales, and we're talking today once again about psychedelics. Why? Because it's conference season, big time conference season. So what's going to happen in the next week or two? Some of the biggest names of the industry are all collecting and getting together in Miami. A lot of deals could be taking place. So what are questions that you want to know? Give us your feedback, leave a comment below, click on that bell for all notifications. And if you like the content that we produce, subscribe to our channel. We'll get that information back to you. So we're talking psychedelics today, and I want to bring in, he's the president of Microdose, which basically holds the biggest psychedelic conference in the world. Patrick Moher back to the podcast. Good day, sir. How's things?
Good day, sir. Things are insane. Busy, but
Are they insane?
yeah, it's a week away, and
Like planning for a wedding, huh?
well, I used to photograph weddings, so I'm used to this craziness. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's look at this right now. Investors want to know what's the current state of the business of the psychedelic industry. No better person to speak to, obviously, than you with all the companies that you obviously speak with on a daily basis. But when you look at last year's event compared to this year's event, what would you say stands out the most? Are you like anticipating a bigger crowd and more awareness towards the overall industry?
Definitely a bigger crowd. We've upsized the venue. We did it in the Adrian Arch Center last year, and we got the Mana in Wynwood this year. So it's one of the biggest venues in Miami.
Great.
In terms of like differences, I would say, yeah, crowd composition for sure, but also just the quality of the crowd.
Yeah.
We've got like Arc Invest in attendance. They're starting to look at, they've
Nice.
been a Tie and Compass on the open market. We've got a keynote from Gene Gunn at the FDA, Commander Gene
Okay.
Gunn. So, it's pretty legit, I guess you could say.
Wow.
And, similar caliber of sponsors this year. A lot of the big companies in the space, names you're familiar with, like, Cybin and Mind State Design and
Yep.
KGK. And then we got, Platinums from Numinous and Mind Bio and Ninian Therapeutics. Our title sponsor this year, Algernon Pharmaceuticals. So yeah, you're looking at like, I think, while the industry is obviously corrected, you've been watching that, everyone's
Yeah.
been getting their butts handed to them on the public markets. That's just natural consolidation for an emerging industry. You get a lot of excitement, a lot of IPOs, a lot of cheap paper flooding the market, and things are down a lot from last year. But
Right.
if you're an investor with patience and a good time frame, that's really good news.
When you look at this, like this industry, if it was on the private side, can you imagine the growth that's occurred in the last 12 months? Do you feel that way? Because I know I do.
Yeah, I mean the private side is actually where things have thrived in the last
Yeah.
year. You didn't see capital slowing down into good deals. Private companies with laser focus and good burn rate. A lot of, I mean, it's not good or bad. It's just the way the game is played. But a lot of these companies went public to raise capital and awareness and all that when really their business models didn't have that much business being a public company. So I think you're seeing a little bit of a transition back into kind of private operations, and you're going to see a lot of, quite frankly, failures as people
Yeah.
run out of cash. But, with all the catalysts that are incoming, you got, the FDA is going to medically legalize MDMA for the first time. And
I know, it's huge, right?
that's going to hit the news waves huge. Yeah.
So walk me in the back door, like, if you're having these conversations with the FDA and have them, presenting or speaking at this conference, how did that all come into play? And what's been their feedback as far as the overall general interest pertaining to the industry?
Yeah, I mean, I got to give credit where credit's due on that one. That was Christina, our events director. She's
Okay.
got away with getting into people's inboxes and getting a yes. And so she's maintained a good, close relationship with Commander Gene. And from what I've heard, they're pretty open to having these conversations and meeting new people. And we got maps coming, and we're going to set up a
Yeah.
meeting there where private meets public and nonprofit and corporation and all that. And I mean, generally, it's been open arms acceptance, even from the bigger, biotech investment firms and all that. Big pharma is starting to take a look
Yeah.
at it.
Yeah.
It may be a little quiet until the top really pops off, but it's coming.
What do you anticipate next week? You talked about a bigger crowd size, bigger venue, but if I'm somebody, that knows about the industry or is getting to learn about it more, it begins next Thursday, correct? Which is November the 3rd, runs till Friday, November the 4th.
That, yeah.
When they attend the actual event, what can they experience when walking in?
Yeah, so actually this year we increased it to 3 days. So it'll be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You got two stages. If we're talking about inside the venue, two stages. One's the main stage. It's got capacity for about 2,000, 1,500 people.
Yeah.
And then you got the sub stage. Those are going to be programmed according to the main stage is science, business, and culture. The opposite, business, culture, science. And then we got technology, mushrooms, and ketamine on the sub stage. But we really went hard on the experiential element of it this year. So
what's that mean?
Yeah, so like the show floor, you'll remember last year we had maybe 6-7 booths. This year we have 46, so we sold it completely. So you're seeing like the proliferation of like new companies, private companies hitting the market, that kind of thing. But then also we've got a psychedelic cinema where we're going to be debuting our documentary, The World on Drugs. We have a massage area, NFT zone, art gallery.
That's cool. NFT zone. How's that work?
Yeah, so Psychedelic sponsored the NFT zone, and they're going to be featuring a new collection that they're dropping and a whitelist, and then the Christie's and Maps cartography of the Mind series that was auctioned off earlier this year. There's going to be 9 works displayed there from Beeple and Alex Gray, and we've even got like an Android Jones NFT available to our VIP ticket holders that they can claim there. We're just doing that as a courtesy gift. And then, we got like IV drips, we've got the slow wave, we've got Entheo Digital doing their Technodelics Therapeutics, we got a VR activation. So it's really like, come for the learning and the networking and all that, but also really enjoy your experience and feel like we came out of a movement, not just sort of a conference.
So bigger venue, 6 booths last year and 47 this year. Probably a lot of that is credit just with the overall awareness and better understanding and education of the industry, right?
Yeah, definitely. New players that can enter at, and also, to be honest, we just got a really, really good vendor this year for the booth option. So we were able to bring the cost down to make it more accessible. But I think it's also like, we have a functional mushroom marketplace where people are going to be selling their functional mushroom products. That's not something we had available last year. So we're embracing a wider gamut of the industry.
Who are some of the big name people that you have lined up, celebrities wise, that are going to be attending the event or even speaking?
Yeah, for sure. We've got, the cast of characters that everyone in the industry is familiar with. Paul Stamets going to be doing a keynote, Rick Doblin doing a keynote. Robin Carhart Harris, Matthew Johnson, the usual. But then, on the other side, we got Rashad Evans. He's a former UFC fighter. Yep. He'll be presenting. We got the comedian. Oh no, I'm spacing on his name right now.
Russell Peters?
No. Come on. It's gonna come back to me right at the end of this podcast.
All right. Fair enough.
Running through the brain right now. And then we've got the guys from Have a Good Trip Netflix that are coming in. And so, just like a couple mainstream names here and there. Christian Angermeyer, the billionaire from
Top Notch.
Atai. We've got Bob Parsons, the founder of GoDaddy. He's going to be doing a keynote as well, and he's a big philanthropist in the psychedelic space.
Great.
So yeah, really just like we've got 200 speakers this year. So Reggie Watts, I knew it was going to come to me at the end.
Who is it? Sorry?
Reggie Watts, the comedian.
Yeah. That's huge, man. 200 speakers.
It's a lot.
Take me to Rashad Evans, UFC fighter. He's being involved in this conference, and there's a lot of, research the UFC has announced that they could be doing towards this whole psychedelic movement. Mm-hmm. Have you had conversations with Rashad, and has he, tried different compounds where certain psychedelics have changed his life?
Well, actually, Rashad, interestingly enough, he's on the functional mushroom side with Umbo. Del Jolly, Rashad Evans, and a couple other athletes are behind that company. So it's actually functional mushrooms that I'm sure there has been a psychedelic experience in there that's been sort of a game changer for him. I don't want to speak for him on that. But yeah, it's the functional mushroom product. So they have a company called Umbo that's just sort of getting off the ground and really working for that, not the psychedelic side of the industry, but really the functional mushroom products, things that you can consume and buy in a store right now.
When you look at publicly traded companies that were involved last year versus this year, are you seeing a lot of new companies entering the space at this year's conference?
On the public market side, maybe not so much. We've got a couple repeat companies. I would say probably more new entrants on the private side.
Yeah. So private seems to be a big opportunity within the space. There's been so much movement with it, has it not?
Yeah, I mean, like it's not going to slow down.
No.
The industry is in a bit of a lull. Last year when we had Wonderland, you probably know well that Compass released their results, and then suicidal ideation was highlighted throughout the media, proliferated, and everything just cranked down. Not to say that the industry.
I don't think people understood it when they made that announcement, right?
Not entirely, because you're not benchmarking against the standard, and the standard is clearly worse. So I think it's an educational opportunity, and really to change people's minds, it starts with the conversation, so that we're just trying to have a really, really big conversation here.
Yeah, I have to admit, last year's highlight too, you had Mike Tyson there. Did you get a chance to meet him?
Yeah, I did. I welcomed him into the show. It was pretty cool. He's a big man.
Is he a big man? Yeah,
big man. Yeah, but he had a very peaceful aura around him. Yeah.
What do you think you learned most about him with the time that you spent to Mike related to his mental health?
I'll be honest, I didn't spend a lot of time one-on-one with him. It was, all show operations and all that. I was running in a million places at once. But it was obviously a controversial placement. He hasn't had the most peaceful background in his life. He's got felonies that he's been convicted of, and stories around there. But and I understand that, and I'm not a person to sweep that under the rug and be like, no, it didn't happen. He's totally fine. But if you believe in the premise that psychedelic medicine helps people change and heal and reconfigure their minds, why wouldn't you take the biggest, baddest example of a hard motherfucker on the planet, see if you can do him some good, and maybe that's what we're here for. I don't know.
It's a good point, though, right? Yeah, that's for sure. So this kicks off then next week. You want to give the details as to where it's at the venue itself, and then what time it starts? Obviously, is it Thursday or Wednesday it starts?
Yeah, absolutely. So Wednesday we're going to have a VIP reception. It's going to be from, I believe it's 9 to midnight, and then conference programming starts 9 to 5 every day. It'll be at the Mono Wynwood from Thursday to Saturday. Saturday will be the big, consumer day where we actually sell show floor tickets and, just sort of a more accessible tier for people to check out the booths and the products and all that. And then, the big difference actually this year in terms of the programming is also the after party programming. If you recall, last year we were pretty hands off with that, just being that we were taking a massive risk and liability and producing the conference on its own. So we didn't officially host any parties other than the VIP. This year, I think we have 16 or 17 scheduled events.
Wow.
I keep seeing, other events pop up on my timeline of, this company and that company is doing this and there. So it's going to be a very, I think, during the day, obviously educational experience, but in the evening, meet people, have fun, do some networking. That's
great networking.
Really, we all know where the business happens at the conference. It's, from meeting people that you like. That's who you want to do business with. So plenty of opportunity for that. That's for sure.
Not a bad place to network in Miami, right?
It's all right,
It's all right? For those that want to get tickets, log on to what website, or they can go online and find out more information where?
Yeah, just microdose.buzz/Wonderland, or if you go to the front page, you're going to see Wonderland as the first thing. We'll happily, set you up with a discount code as well for any readers that want to, get that going and save 20% on tickets. So we'll send you a link for that. And if anyone wants to catch up on social and just see some of the recent announcement, you can go to Microdose HQ on all social channels, except for TikTok. We don't do TikTok yet. I guess the kids are doing that these days.
I know. I hear you. You can't keep up with everything, right?
No. Yeah, I gave up.
Hey, good job on YouTube. What about Instagram? What about TikTok? What about Discord? What about Reddit? Whatever happened to the days of just newspaper, television, radio?
I crave for the day that one application synchronizes all of my communications.
It will come.
Oh, one of these days, just let the APIs free.
Yeah, exactly, right? And we will look back at this and say, how'd they do it? It seems very complicated, right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Last thing I'll ask is if you could say one big takeaway for people that will attend this year's event, what would it be?
Well, you get to meet Chad Dales. This is coming. I mean, come on, there's the takeaway, folks. I guess so. One thing about me is I suck at picking favorites. Absolutely horrible. But
Yeah,
the networking, the quality of speakers, the quality of it, like the vibe. There's the
great
thing.
vibe.
Great vibe. Just come for the vibe, do some business, make some friends. Raise some capital, whatever you need to do, but come for the vibe.
Yeah. Where do you think this conference will be in 5 years from now? Do you have an idea?
I mean, we kind of position ourselves in the framing of like a tech crunch for psychedelics. So really, just like
I think just for the overall growth and awareness. And it's just like, look, from one year to the next, like you said, 6 booths to 47. You got people from the FDA that are coming in this year. Rick Dobbin, again, continues to speak, which is a huge advocate. Robin Carhart-Harris was named 100 most influential people in Time magazine. Like, these are all big name people. And most importantly, the industry is advancing because where it all starts and ends is data. And the data is not just a little bit favorable, it's overwhelmingly favorable. So when you put all those things together, there's such huge growth opportunities. And, this is a good measuring stick to see where you were last year versus this year. I do know some people were thinking, what's it going to be like as far as the industry and conference events? But that's very publicly traded focused. When you look at the private side, as I've said, there's enormous growth, which I think in a lot of ways will only fluctuate and enter back into the public markets in due time. And you may have the same companies, you may have different ones, but the overall growth of the industry, it's so early.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're just going to see year over year growth. Look at the caliber of speakers and attendees,
Yeah.
the funds, and even like, we're having conversations with government officials and,
Yeah.
Major philanthropists and media people. And, like our, won't say the last name, but maybe we get Joe or, something like that. So I think it's the caliber of the people that are really taking this seriously and kind of like, they look at last year and then they look at this year and it's like, oh, okay, like maybe I should be speaking this year, next year. Yeah. And you'll just see, I think you're going to just see compound growth for another 5 years. I mean, it's not what's going to slow it down, right? Like,
I know you're working hard, but congrats obviously on the growth. I'm sure you'll have a great event, and I'm sure a lot of people that attend will have a great event, and most importantly, learn a lot. So keep up the great work, and I look forward to connecting with you down in Miami.
absolutely. Looking forward to that as well.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching. So what'd you think of the interview? If there's any information that you want to know more of or want to learn about, then provide us with feedback by leaving a comment below. And if you like what we're producing, then feel free to subscribe to our channel, share this video with your network, and as well, click on that bell for all notifications because we would not be here without you. We appreciate it. Thanks for watching, everyone.